Hey, it's Bill, and you're tuned into the Pennsylvania Rock Show, featuring the best unsigned rock and metal that Pennsylvania has to offer, right here on PARockShow.com, MegaRockRadio.net, 107.1 FM, St. Louis, Missouri, XRPRadio.co.uk, AltRockRadio.ca, RootarooRadio.com. I feel like I'm forgetting someone. I am. BuildTheScene.com. My own website. This is episode number 523, and with me tonight is Colin from the band The Whelming Waters. What's up, Colin?
Not much, Bill. Thanks for having me.
No problem. We're coming off of movie night, so you guys will have to bear with me as I'm rolling into this. If you have not seen My Spy yet, it's good. My kids probably didn't need to hear everything that was said in it. I wasn't expecting that. Not to ruin it, but at the end, the little girl says something, and my daughters were like, "She swore." So that's your warning. We do have a few people popping in, watching us live. Those of you that are watching, if you have any questions for Colin at any time, throw them up in the comment section of the video, and he and I will both be able to see them. And maybe we will mention you and ask your question. All right, but let's get started with my questions. I'm going to start off with probably the only cliche one of the night.
Good way to start.
Well, it's the one that everyone's going to ask you, and it's kind of hard not to. So what's the story behind the name, the Whelming Waters?
We were really struggling to find a name. This was, I think, like 2 years ago or 3 years. It might have been 2017. We still didn't have a name. We've been together like 2 years. And I was all for, let's just pick a name, just whatever. I don't care. Our drummer was talking about search engine optimization and all this stuff. So eventually, and he was right. I mean, that's a good point. My brother-in-law, who is our tenor sax player in the band, his name's Jeremy. He found the poem by Walt Whitman about the Johnstown flood. And one of the lines was, something, the Whelming Waters. And we Googled it and everything. There's just nothing would come up. Apparently, whelming is like a dead word. So, yeah, we decided it kind of had everything we needed. It wasn't taken, which is like the hardest part of finding a name, right? So it was cool, too, because it has a little bit of that local meaning to us. So I've grown to really like the name.
So you're in the Johnstown area?
No, I mean, we're all around Pittsburgh. We're from Irwin, but we figured, it's kind of close. That was just sort of a bonus. Like it's from Johnstown. Cool.
I'll be driving past Johnstown on Friday. The reason that I can't edit Friday. I'm headed to my brother's house for my nephew's first birthday.
Oh, awesome.
But, so Here we go with my normal types of questions. So if I was to go on tour with the Whelming Waters, what does soundtrack in between shows while we're traveling include?
Oh, man. That's a good question. There are 7 of us. We have so many influences, man, that and if you listen to our record, you can tell that this range of styles that we are influenced by is huge. I mean, there'd probably be some jazz. There'd be some Dave Koz going on, some sax music. I love the Decemberists. Me and my sister are huge into the Decemberists. So lots of folk rock happening. And our drummer is a huge Incubus head, loves Incubus more than anything, I think. So I mean, it'd just be a whirlwind. It'd be a mixture of all sorts of. It wouldn't be a crazy drug-fueled tour. It'd be a crazy, what are we listening to kind of thing. More like, I think.
If if you were going to make that first international tour once this whole pandemic thing is over and you're headlining, what two other bands would you take with you from the Pittsburgh scene to open for you?
Oh, man. That's a good question. Oh, see, this is a tough one. We love Fubar, for sure, which I know they've been on your show. We're not just trying to like inter-network here, but those guys are awesome, and also have like the full horn section, which, you know, the styles don't necessarily mix up, but I think I've heard they're fun guys. I won't say they're partiers, but I've heard they're fun. So I think we'd have fun with them for sure. Oh man, this is a tough one, Bill, because there's so many people. I don't want to hurt anyone either. Man, I think I don't know, Standard Broadcast, who are awesome guys in the music scene, also on our label too. So them and Fubar. So
I have talked to both of them.
Great. Okay. Yeah, and we, you know,
and to Dakota once or twice. Or 1,000 times. Oh
man, you actually talked to him? Oof.
Oh, I set up his original website.
Yeah, we'd have to. It'd be a lot of fun to go with those guys too, and just have a nice Pittsburgh music fest going on throughout the world.
I like it. See, I've already deviated from my written question, so I'm going to ask you another one. If you had to manage a band from Pittsburgh and you could handpick each member of the band, but you can't be in the band, who would you handpick, and what genre would they play?
That's cruel. That's very cruel. I can't be in it. Vocals, it would have to be Clinton Clegg from the Common Heart, because I'm just a huge Common Heart fan. I love that style too, and I think that would have to be the style of the band. Honestly, I'd have to go that like new soul type, horn type of thing. A friend of mine, Chris Volpini, would have to play bass. He plays with Louis Castle and the Rooks. He plays with a bunch of people around, but he's a killer bass player and a really nice guy.
I've talked to him for something. I don't think on air, but I remember talking to him about something.
Yeah,
it might have been website based.
He's all over too. He plays with everybody, and yeah, just an awesome bass player. Man, I don't know, guitar players. There's so many good guitar players. A friend of mine from is a band called The Moment. They're like a jazz fusion type of band. Richie Haynes, man, he's an awesome lead guitar player. I'd have to throw him in there. God, I don't know too many drummers. Drummers would be a tough one, but I will mention a shout out to a new friend of mine named Corey Feeney, who we've actually jammed together on drums. He's a barber. I think he said he lives out in Bell Vernon. You know, we've hung out a few times, but we share a love for music, cigars, and whiskey. And I think I'd have to throw him on drums. It'd be a crazy band. I don't know. I can't think of anybody else, honestly. I don't. That's a tough question. It's really tough.
So Bell Vernon comes up. That's where I teach. I teach in North Bell Vernon. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
I don't live anywhere near there though.
That might be totally wrong. I feel like that's where like, what if he's gonna like message me like, you idiot.
So can you pinpoint the moment that you wanted to be in a band? Like what clicked in your head?
Well, I basically can. I know I've been playing music since I was like, well, I've been actually playing guitar and stuff since I was like 14, you know, writing songs. But then I was playing out just kind of acoustic. I was huge into like Jack Johnson and stuff. And you know, John Mayer, is a lot of teenage guys were. But I always was like a loner and like didn't kind of just liked it that way. but I got into kind of when I got into college, and I honestly, it was like, after like, I think my first breakup, I was like, I want to be in a rock band, man. And so maybe when I was like 20, 21, and I had a couple friends from high school who had always played in rock bands, and I hooked up with them, and because we were friends already, and we formed our first band called Firstborn Sons, like back in the day. And yeah, I think that was it. It was like I got to college, I got sort of like less romantic than I was as a young teenager, and I didn't want to play the like acoustic stuff anymore. I wanted to rock out. I wanted to be in a band
and turn on some distortion.
Yeah, exactly, man. Sometimes you have to.
How about an embarrassing moment? Maybe not for you in particular on stage, but you could out someone else. You can tell me something that someone else in the band did since they're not here.
That's nice of you to say, but I have more embarrassing moments than anybody I can think of. And the man, there's a lot. The worst one was, I think, with that first band. Do you want it to be from this band, or
it can be anytime you were on stage?
My drummer in our first band, he and I we'd all kind of drink and stuff and have fun. But before one show, we both drank a bunch of beers, and as he drank, he got better at drumming. He was, he would get just loose and like crazy. And I do not get better at guitar playing. So literally the first song started, and I stepped on my power cord and pulled it out of my guitar, and there's just no sound coming out. And I'm looking at it like, what's going on? This thing is broken. And then I realized my singer's like, it's on the ground. It's on the ground. And I'm like trying to pick it up off the ground. And I got back to the song like right in time for the end. So that's just one of many, Bill, but that was the worst one, I think.
Let's talk a little bit. You guys released Bon Voyage on June 6th.
Mm-hmm.
Was that on DI Records?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we debated. We went back and forth about releasing that, but it was like, we don't know when there's going to be an end to this. Let's just go for it. Plus, we told everyone the date over and over. It's like, it's got to come out now. So, yeah. So through DI Records.
And how many tracks are on it?
There's 12 tracks.
I know you sent me two. You sent me "Oh Maybelline," which caught me off guard, by the way. When I started playing, I was like, whoa, that's not what I expected. I liked it, but it wasn't what I expected.
Mm-hmm.
And then the song that we're going to play here shortly is the Whiskey song. And what I want from you now is for you to tell me a story. It could be what the song's about, or what influenced the writing of the song, or something that happened when you were recording it, and anything that sticks in your mind when you think about that song.
Sure. That one, it's one of I think everybody's favorite off the album. I know it's Dakota's, but personally he loves that song. And I literally wrote that song, I think I must have been like 18 or 19, and okay, no, I was probably a little older than that. I might have been 21 or so, I guess, because I kind of started to. It was when I started kind of drinking. Everybody starts drinking beer, and I tried whiskey, I think, and I was like, I like this. Whiskey's delicious, and I mentioned that to my mother or something, and she said, whiskey's an alcoholic's drink. You better stay away from that. I was like, no, if you moderation, you drink it, you drink it for the taste, it's fine, and that's where the whole story, if you listen to the chorus and think, don't let the whiskey go to your head. And I kind of started to think, like, what's this like mystical power that whiskey has that my mother's so afraid of it? And so yeah, I wrote it back then when I was still writing like folk folk music, and our drummer John and our bass player Nina were the two like founding members with me. We were just kind of a three-piece for a while. They kept saying, "Let's play that song," and I was like, "It's not a rock song. It's just not." And they kept bugging me to play it. And then when my brother-in-law and Andy, our other sax player, came in, that's when I started to realize this is going to be good, because it turned into this kind of like swing. I don't even know what to call it. It just became something totally different, and we really like how it turned out. It was way different when it was written, but I think it's better off for sure. So,
so what we're going to do here is we're going to take a moment and listen to the Whiskey Song by the Whelming Waters. We're also going to pair that up with a Smokey Bellows song called Devil 2. Are you familiar with them?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. And then we'll be right back with some more questions for Colin. And for those of you that are watching the video, you don't get to hear the music now. You, if you would like to hear the music, have to go to one of the stations that I mentioned at the beginning, or go to PARockShow.com starting Friday at 6 a.m. And from there until the time that the website doesn't exist anymore, it'll be there. So what we're going to do now is pretend that we listen to the music. We're going to come back in. Okay, that was Smokey Bellows' Devils 2, and right before that was the Whelming Waters, the Whiskey Song, which we just talked about and learned that it was because Colin's mom was like Bobby Boucher's mom and told him whiskey was the devil. See how I did that?
Yeah, my mom sounds exactly like that too. So,
oh man, is she gonna watch this?
I don't know. Maybe not now.
I didn't say that my lips were moving, but it was Colin.
That was all me. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, I moved my questions. Hold on a second.
Sure.
I was not expecting that. You threw me off. All right, so here's the question that popped into my head the other night when I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning in my living room.
This is the one.
It's, if your band was made up of superheroes, which superhero would play your part in the band?
Oh man, is there a super awkward superhero? I wonder.
What was the greatest American hero? Did you ever? That's really dating me, but
that probably, yeah. That or maybe like Freakazoid. I just get super like sometimes I get super hyper and excited about stuff. So maybe Freakazoid. That's probably about accurate.
All right, so now we're gonna go to Back to the Future. We're gonna use a movie reference for this one. So if you could go back in time for a full year and follow any one band around and not change the I've said this 1,000 times, the time space continuum,
right?
Who would you follow and why?
Local band, you said?
Anybody.
Any band. Oh man, that's a great question. Well, I'll just throw in the local band, I guess. I mentioned them earlier, but I said I'm a huge fan of the Common Heart, and I think the past year for them, they've really kind of gotten a lot bigger, and it like seeing a band from Pittsburgh do that is really cool to me, and seeing where they've gone and the music they're putting out, and everybody in the band I think is a big fan of them, so it'd be kind of cool to see that.
So you want to tag along? Is there reach
roadie? I don't know. Whatever.
You're gonna DJ in between show dates,
exactly,
right?
Exactly. I'll wear some giant thing on my head like all the DJs are, like a pumpkin. DJ Pumpkin, man.
All right, still back in time, sort of.
Okay.
So this is kind of a cliche question, but it's not a cliche question that a band gets asked. Which now you're like, oh no.
Oh, great.
So you've heard the question about if you could sit on a bench for 1 hour with anyone, right? I'm sure you've heard that question.
I think so, yeah.
All right, so if you could do that with any musician in the history of the world, which musician would you pick, and what one question would you ask them?
Oh, man. It's very difficult. It's got to be David Bowie, man. What would I ask him? I would ask him probably how he's alive. Like, he's not anymore, unfortunately. But just David Bowie's so like mysterious, you know. I want to ask him so many things, but it's just like I just want to say, what happened? What happened all those years? It's all so crazy. I love it.
Maybe that's who you should go back and watch for a year.
Maybe I should. Oh, the year he ate only peppers and milk for a year.
Yeah, no thanks.
So yeah, that sounds really bad for your stomach.
Yeah, but maybe that's where some of the music came from.
I guess so. I don't know. Is that the answer? I don't know.
All right, so here's what I want you to do. I'm going to give you a little bit of direction before I ask you the question. And we'll see if you follow it.
Okay.
Okay. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to think about your favorite albums and narrow it down to one, which is hard, I'm sure. And when I say your favorite one, we're talking you listen from the first track to the last track without skipping anything.
Mm-hmm.
Is it good enough that you would be willing to forget it to hear it again for the very, very first time? And if so, which album is it?
Absolutely. I'm tempted to go with I was tempted to go with the classic album, but the album Them Crooked Vultures, which came out, I don't know, several years ago now. Josh Homme, Dave Grohl, and John Paul Jones, was the first time I heard it was like, I actually don't know how much I liked it the first time I heard it, but it was like slowly, I heard all the little stuff that was happening there. I was like, oh my God, it's so good. It's just so good. And I often think that there's so many albums that like, I wish I could hear again for the first time. But for an album that is extremely interesting and there's so many little nuances, it's definitely that one.
I'm glad you picked that because I can throw this out here again. For like the last 6 months, I've been posting that I wanted to interview Dave Grohl, but he's ignoring me.
Oh, man.
So Dave.
Dave.
Can I hear it?
Yeah, he's my uncle. So Dave.
That would help out.
Uncle Dave, I wish.
I keep tagging the Foo Fighters. Nothing. They don't even click like.
Man,
they probably blocked me.
Like, who's this stalker?
Well, you know, I feel like he would be the person that could talk about starting from nowhere and ending up in a mega band twice.
Absolutely.
You know? And
that doesn't happen a lot anymore, unfortunately.
No.
Yeah.
You know, and then like I feel like when they bring the people from the crowd onto the stage, that's something I want to ask them about. You know?
Absolutely.
Which brings us to our next question.
Oh, great.
So, you know, for those people, when Dave brings them up on stage, you know, he's making their day. You know, they're there, they want to play with their favorite band, and he makes it happen. If you were in the crowd and you were headed up on stage, who would be in Dave Grohl's place? Who would be bringing you up?
You know what? I would actually not. I would actually hate that, to be honest. Like, I don't want to be. I just want to enjoy the concert from here. But man, I'm a huge Jack White fan. I don't know if he asked me to play guitar, I'd say no though, because it'd be just embarrassing. Like, why even do it? Yeah, probably Jack White, man. I even if he brought me on stage and just like made fun of me for a little, just playfully, that'd be fine. I'd be cool with that. Just for the experience.
You just want to go up and wave to everybody and say, "Okay, I'm gonna go back down."
Jack White called me an idiot. It's awesome. Woo! Be great.
We're getting towards the end. I have 2 more questions for you. What is something that your fans would be interested to learn about you that they don't already know?
Our fans. Good question. They might already know this, but myself, John, Nina, Kelsey, Jeremy, and Andy all went to Norwin High School out in North Huntington. And John, Nina, and I mean, we were friends from a theater club from way back. So, yeah, they might not have known that part, that we were all kind of theater club nerds in high school. So starting the band was just like, that was the second part. It's like we were already friends. So.
Okay. Last question, probably the easiest one of the night.
Oh, great.
Where can people find Whelming Waters online?
Well, at the bottom of the screen here, the whelmingwaters.com. That's our website. We kind of lead you a lot of places. We definitely are on Facebook. We're active on Facebook and Instagram. And if you want to find our music, that's everywhere you can get music. iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, all the digital downloads. And on our website, you can purchase, a CD, a T-shirt, coffee mugs, I think. Pretty much anything you might want. So we're all over the place. And if you Google us, we've got that search engine optimization. So we're the first thing that comes up. It worked out.
I need to figure. Build the Scene is on the top half of the first page. I'll take that.
Mm-hmm. Weird name. You like Hamster Scene or I don't know, something weird.
Well, that's my other podcast. Is called 3 Questions and a Song.
There you go.
What you would think.
Good one.
Except there's lots of things that start out with 3 questions and. I learned that after the fact.
That's weird.
But it's on Build the Scene, so you'll still find it.
Oh, perfect.
So, is there anything we didn't cover that you want to mention before we go off air?
I don't think so, but you mentioned a question about what cartoon characters the band would be.
Oh, do you want to answer that one? You can answer that.
Yeah, because I already had it. I always pictured us as the Scooby-Doo gang.
And that's everybody's answer.
Yeah, it's just so great. Solving mysteries and playing music. That'd be awesome. That's my goal.
I think that's the answer Fubar gave too.
They're probably closer than us, honestly.
Except if you listen to it, I did a really good job of editing out a word before Shaggy.
Okay. What was it?
We're not going to say it. So I do want to thank you for coming on to episode 523. And what we're going to do next is first I'm going to tell you who's coming up, who we're going to talk to next couple of weeks. And then we're going to listen to some more of the best unsigned rock and metal that Pennsylvania has to offer. And at the very end of that, John Lane is going to come on and tell you what you have to do to find us each and every week. If you're not familiar with John Lane, he's the lead singer of the Hellfire Club from Akron, Ohio. You can find them at hellfiremusic.com. Also made that website. Okay, so next week we have Keith Hawkins, who is a former resident of Pittsburgh, currently lives in NOLA. And he is a professional drummer for hire there in Louisiana. On the 24th, we're going to talk to the guys from Bethlehem. And I'm going to make sure that they know that a camera will be involved. So my guess is they will be in character and probably in garb. If you're not familiar with them, they are are kind of like a Dungeons and Dragons band. They play metal. It's awesome. When my show with Keith Hawkins is released, they will actually be doing a live CD release video thing on Facebook. So both of them will be recorded. You should listen to mine first and then go watch theirs. But watch it. On the 31st of July, we have Modern Welfare. And then we jump way ahead to September 18th, where we have Royal Honey scheduled. I am looking for more bands that are looking to talk to me and answer my oddball questions. If you're interested in that, you can send me an email, bill@buildthescene.com, or find me on Facebook at Build the Scene. I mentioned 3 questions in the song already, so I'll just throw it out there. Go to buildthescene.com. You can click on shows. Has both of my shows listed, and then it'll say more podcasts. And there's like 17 more podcasts that are all unsigned music related. So if you're looking for unsigned music, go there. Also at the bottom of my website, there's a little radio player with a button that plays local unsigned music 24/7. So check that out as well. The Whelming Waters have 2 tracks on that station. So does Fubar has a bunch. I think they might have 5 or 6. But check it out, and make sure you check us out each and every Friday for the podcast and radio show, and it cycles through all those streaming stations. And then I don't know what else to say. I'm at the end. I'm usually better at this. Anyway, with me tonight was Colin from the Whelming Waters. Check them out at thewhelmingwaters.com. For those of you that are unfamiliar with that word, as he mentioned, it doesn't get used often. It is spelled WHELMING. If you are watching the video, it's at the bottom, right about there. That's the best I've ever done with that.
You're right on.
So it's thewhelmingwaters.com. We will check you out next week.